There's something powerful in knowing that you are not here by accident. Each of us has a path, a journey, a purpose that is uniquely designed just for us. Even in those moments of doubt, confusion, or pain, know this: God has a plan for you. Life, as we all know, is not a straight road. There are twists, there are valleys, and sometimes we feel as though we're standing still. But let me tell you something, it's all part of the bigger picture. Every setback, every challenge, every unexpected turn is leading you closer to the divine plan that God has already crafted. Sometimes we can't see it because we're in the midst of it. But trust me, it's unfolding, even when you can't understand it. There are moments when you may question your purpose, question your worth, and wonder if you're on the right track. I want to remind you today, you are exactly where you're meant to be. You are not lost. You are being shaped, refined, and prepared for something far greater than you can imagine. When life feels overwhelming, when you're met with obstacles that seem impossible to overcome, that is the time to lean into faith. Because God doesn't make mistakes, He's intentional. The struggles you face today are building the strength you need for tomorrow. I know there are days when the plan feels unclear. But faith isn't about seeing the whole staircase, it's about taking the first step, even when you can't see where it will lead. That's the beauty of walking with God. You don't have to have all the answers because He already does. You just need to trust. Understand this: no experience in your life is wasted. Every joy, every heartbreak, every victory, and every loss has meaning. They are threads in the tapestry of your purpose. And when the time is right, you'll see how it all weaves together into something beautiful. Your plan is not like anyone else's. Don't be discouraged if your path looks different. Don't compare your journey to others, because your path is divinely tailored. What God has for you is for you. No one else can claim it. No one else can walk it. You are destined for greatness, but you must trust the process. So today, release the need to control every aspect of your life. Surrender. Let go of the idea that you have to figure it all out. God is guiding you even in the moments that feel the darkest. Keep moving forward with faith, because God has a plan for you, and that plan is always for your highest good. Trust in that and watch how life unfolds with grace and purpose. There's a deep sense of peace that comes when we truly understand that God has a plan for each and every one of us. It's comforting to know that we're not wandering through life aimlessly, but that every step we take, every decision we make, is all part of a greater divine design. Trusting in God's plan means believing that everything in your life is happening for a reason, even when you can't immediately see what that reason is. It's knowing that no matter where you are right now, you're exactly where you need to be for your growth, for your journey, and for your purpose. Life, as we all know, can be unpredictable. We face challenges, disappointments, and moments of pure confusion. There are times when we feel completely lost, as though we've taken a wrong turn somewhere and ended up in the middle of nowhere. In those moments, trusting that God has a plan for us can feel like the hardest thing in the world. We wonder why things didn't work out the way we hoped, why we're facing certain hardships, or why the timing of life feels so off. But that's exactly when trust matters the most, when we don't have the answers and we can't see the way forward. Trusting in God's plan doesn't mean we have to understand every detail. It doesn't mean that we'll always know why things are happening as they are. In fact, more often than not, we won't understand until much later, when we look back and see how each moment fit perfectly into the larger picture. Trusting God is about surrendering our need to control the outcome. It's about letting go of the need to know every step of the journey and embracing the mystery of life. We don't have to have it all figured out because God already does. He's seen the end from the beginning, and His plan is always perfect. But how do we trust when life feels uncertain? How do we hold on to faith when everything around us seems to be falling apart? The key is understanding that God's plan is not dependent on our circumstances. It's not swayed by what's happening in the world around us or by the challenges we face. God's plan is steady, unchanging, and always working for our good even when we can't see it. One of the most powerful things we can do is to remind ourselves that God's timing is not our timing. We often have our own ideas about how things should unfold, about the timeline of our lives, and when certain milestones should be reached. But God sees things from a higher perspective. He knows when the time is right, and He knows what's best for us in the long run. There may be delays, detours, or even complete shifts in direction, but none of these are accidents. They are all part of the journey, and they are all leading us to where we're meant to be. It's also important to recognize that trusting in God's plan doesn't mean we sit back and do nothing. Trusting God is an active process. It means stepping forward in faith, even when the path ahead isn't clear. It means taking the next step, even when we don't know what comes after that. Trusting God is about moving forward with confidence, not in our own abilities, but in the knowledge that He is guiding us every step of the way. When we trust in God's plan, we can find peace in the midst of uncertainty. Instead of constantly worrying about the future, we can rest in the assurance that God is already there, working things out for our good. We can stop striving, stop trying to force things to happen, and instead allow life to unfold in the way that it's meant to. That doesn't mean we won't face challenges or obstacles. In fact, trusting God often means walking through difficult seasons, but with the assurance that those seasons have a purpose. Every challenge, every hardship is an opportunity for growth, for refinement, and for becoming the person God has called us to be. Trusting in God's plan also allows us to let go of comparison. It's easy to look at someone else's life and feel like we're falling behind, like we're not achieving enough or progressing quickly enough. But God's plan for your life is uniquely yours. Your path is not meant to look like anyone else's, and your timing is not meant to match theirs. When you trust that God has a plan specifically for you, you can let go of the need to compare and instead focus on walking your own path with confidence and faith. There's a beautiful freedom that comes when we release the need to control everything. When we trust in God's plan, we no longer have to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. We don't have to have all the answers. We don't have to worry about every little detail. Instead, we can rest in the knowledge that God is in control, that He is guiding us, and that His plan is always for our highest good. There may be times when we doubt, times when we question if we're really on the right path. In those moments, it's important to pause and remind ourselves of God's faithfulness. Look back on your life and see the ways that God has been there for you, guiding you and providing for you, even when you didn't realize it at the time. Every blessing, every opportunity, every closed door that led to something better, those are all reminders of God's perfect plan for your life. When we take the time to reflect on God's faithfulness, it becomes easier to trust that He is still working, even in the moments when we can't see it. In the end, trusting in God's plan is about surrendering our will to His. It's about saying, I may not understand it all, but I trust you, God. I trust that you know what's best for me. I trust that you are leading me where I need to go. It's about releasing the need to control every aspect of our lives and instead allowing God to lead us on the journey that He has designed specifically for us. Trusting God doesn't mean life will be free from challenges. It doesn't mean we won't face difficulties or setbacks. But it does mean that we can face those challenges with a sense of peace and confidence, knowing that God is in control. It means that we can walk through life with faith, even when the path ahead is unclear. Because we know deep down that God's plan is always for our good, always for our growth, and always for our ultimate purpose. Trust in that, and you will find a peace that surpasses all understanding. Recognizing divine guidance in everyday moments requires both an open heart and an attentive spirit. It's about becoming more aware of the subtle ways in which God communicates with us, guiding us along the path He has laid out. Too often we expect grand signs or extraordinary events to confirm that God is directing our steps, but divine guidance is frequently found in the quiet, ordinary moments of life. It's in the soft nudges, the still small voice, and the everyday experiences that, when viewed through the lens of faith, reveal God's presence and purpose. To recognize divine guidance, we must first acknowledge that God is always present and always communicating with us. He speaks to us through our thoughts, feelings, circumstances, and even through other people. The challenge is not whether God is guiding us, but whether we are tuned in to hear Him. Life can be so busy, filled with distractions, noise, and the pressures of daily responsibilities, that we often overlook the subtle ways God is trying to lead us. Recognizing divine guidance requires us to slow down, be still, and make space in our lives for quiet reflection and spiritual awareness. One of the most profound ways God guides us is through our intuition. That inner sense, that gut feeling, is often the Holy Spirit gently prompting us in a particular direction. When we feel a sudden clarity about a decision, or a deep sense of peace about a certain course of action, we are experiencing divine guidance. This inner voice may not always be loud or dramatic, but it is persistent. The more we learn to trust this intuitive sense, the more we can align our actions with God's will for our lives. However, tuning into this guidance requires discernment. Not every thought or feeling is divine guidance, which is why it's important to ground ourselves in prayer, meditation, and spiritual practices that help us stay connected to God. Another way to recognize divine guidance is through the doors that open and close in our lives. Sometimes God's direction comes in the form of opportunities that arise seemingly out of nowhere. A job offer, a new relationship, or an unexpected invitation can be God's way of pointing us in a new direction. Similarly, closed doors such as a missed opportunity or a plan that falls through can also be divine guidance. We may feel disappointment or frustration when things don't go as we hoped, but often God is protecting us from something that isn't meant for us, or He is redirecting us to something better. It's important to remember that closed doors are not signs of failure, they are often blessings in disguise, guiding us toward a path that is more aligned with God's plan. Divine guidance can also be found in our relationships. God often uses the people in our lives to guide us, whether it's through a conversation, a word of encouragement, or even constructive criticism. We may not always recognize it in the moment, but looking back, we can often see how certain people were placed in our lives for a reason. These individuals may offer wisdom or perspective that helps us see a situation more clearly. Sometimes a friend's advice, a mentor's counsel, or even a stranger's kind word can be exactly what we need to move forward. God uses our connections with others as a channel for His guidance, and by paying attention to the relationships in our lives, we can often discern His direction. Circumstances are another way through which God provides guidance. When we encounter unexpected events, whether positive or challenging, these moments often carry messages from God. A sudden detour, a delay, or a coincidence may all be part of a divine plan that is leading us to where we need to be. Even difficulties and struggles can be a form of guidance, pushing us to grow, to change direction, or to rely more fully on God. When we are facing a challenge, rather than asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can shift our perspective and ask, "What is this teaching me?" or "How is God using this situation to guide me?" By viewing our circumstances through a spiritual lens, we can begin to recognize the ways in which God is leading us, even in the most unexpected situations. Prayer is one of the most important tools for recognizing divine guidance. When we are uncertain about a decision or a direction in life, turning to prayer allows us to seek God's wisdom. Through prayer, we open ourselves up to hearing from God, and we invite His presence into our decision-making process. It's important to remember that prayer is not just about asking for guidance, it's also about listening. Often we may pray for answers, but fail to make space to listen for God's response. After praying, taking time to sit in silence, to meditate, and to reflect can help us hear the still small voice of God more clearly. Over time, as we develop a deeper relationship with God through prayer, we become more attuned to His guidance in our everyday lives. Another aspect of recognizing divine guidance is paying attention to the recurring themes or signs in our lives. Sometimes God communicates with us through patterns or repeated messages. We might hear the same advice from multiple sources, encounter the same scripture verse in different contexts, or notice certain themes emerging in our lives. These patterns are not coincidences, they are often God's way of getting our attention. When we start to notice these recurring signs, it's important to reflect on what God might be trying to tell us. What is the message that keeps coming up? What direction is God pointing us toward? By staying open and attentive to these signs, we can begin to see how God is guiding us through the everyday details of our lives. Recognizing divine guidance involves trusting the process. Sometimes we won't have all the answers right away. God's guidance may not come in the form of a clear, immediate direction, but rather as a series of steps that unfold over time. It's important to trust that even when we don't see the full picture, God is leading us. Each step we take in faith brings us closer to understanding His plan. Often divine guidance is revealed in hindsight. When we look back, we can see how God was guiding us all along, even in moments when we felt lost or uncertain. Recognizing divine guidance in everyday moments is about staying open, attentive, and grounded in faith. It's about tuning into the subtle ways God communicates with us, whether through our intuition, circumstances, relationships, or recurring signs. It's about trusting that God is always present, always guiding us, and always working for our good, even when we can't see the full picture. When we cultivate a spirit of openness and reflection, we begin to see that divine guidance is all around us, leading us every step of the way. Learning to trust God's timing is one of the most challenging yet rewarding aspects of our spiritual journey. We live in a world that values speed and instant gratification, where everything is expected to happen immediately. However, God operates on a different timetable. His timing is perfect, but it often doesn't align with our own. Trusting His timing requires patience, faith, and a deep understanding that there is a purpose behind every delay, every wait, and every moment where it feels like nothing is happening. It's in these moments of waiting that some of the most profound growth and transformation take place. When we think about trusting God's timing, it's essential to acknowledge that God sees the bigger picture. While we may be focused on the here and now, concerned with our immediate needs and desires, God has a long-term plan for our lives. He knows what is best for us, not just in this moment, but for our future. There are times when we might feel frustrated because we're not seeing the results we want as quickly as we would like, but God's timing is always intentional. He is orchestrating things in ways we cannot see, ensuring that everything aligns perfectly for the greater good of our lives. What might feel like a delay to us is often divine preparation. One of the most common struggles people face when trusting God's timing is the temptation to take matters into their own hands. When we don't see immediate results, we can become impatient, trying to force outcomes or rush through situations. However, when we take control instead of waiting on God, we often end up making decisions that lead to more confusion or delay. The story of Abraham and Sarah in the Bible is a prime example of this. God promised them a child, but when the fulfillment of that promise didn't happen quickly, they took matters into their own hands. The result was unnecessary complications and heartache. If they had waited for God's timing, they would have avoided much of the pain they experienced. This story teaches us the importance of patience and trust in God's plan, even when it doesn't unfold according to our expectations. Patience is a key virtue when it comes to trusting God's timing. It's easy to be patient when everything is going according to plan, but the real test of patience comes during the waiting periods of life. Whether we're waiting for a breakthrough in our careers, healing from an illness, or clarity in a relationship, these periods of waiting can feel excruciating. However, the waiting process is often where God is doing His most significant work in us. Waiting is not passive, it's active trust. It's during these times that God is molding and shaping us, developing our character, strengthening our faith, and preparing us for the blessings to come. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes 3:11, He has made everything beautiful in its time. This verse reminds us that God's timing is not just perfect, but beautiful. What may seem like a delay to us is actually God's way of ensuring that everything falls into place in the most extraordinary way. Trusting God's timing also involves letting go of our need for control. As human beings, we often want to control every aspect of our lives. We want to plan our future down to the smallest detail, and we want things to happen on our timeline. But life doesn't work that way. We can't control everything, and the more we try, the more anxious and stressed we become. Trusting God's timing requires surrender, releasing our grip on the reins and allowing God to lead the way. It's about acknowledging that we don't have all the answers and that God's wisdom far surpasses our understanding. This act of surrender is incredibly liberating. It frees us from the burden of trying to force outcomes and allows us to rest in the knowledge that God is in control. During the waiting period, it's essential to stay connected to God through prayer and reflection. When we're waiting for something important, it's easy to become fixated on what we don't have or what hasn't happened yet. This can lead to frustration, doubt, and even resentment. But when we turn to God in prayer, we are reminded of His presence and His promises. Prayer is not just about asking God to move faster or to give us what we want. It's about aligning our hearts with His will. It's about finding peace in the waiting, knowing that God's timing is always perfect, even when we don't understand it. Through prayer, we can find the strength to keep going, to trust the process, and to maintain a sense of hope, even in the most uncertain of times. Another important aspect of trusting God's timing is recognizing that His delays are not denials. Just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't happen. There are times when God says wait because He is working behind the scenes, setting things up in ways that we cannot see. There are also times when God says no because He has something better in store for us. Trusting God's timing means believing that He knows what is best for us, even when it doesn't match our desires. It's about having faith that, in the end, everything will work out according to His plan, and that plan is far greater than anything we could imagine for ourselves. In many cases, we don't fully understand God's timing until we look back. Hindsight is often where we can see the beauty of God's plan unfolding. There may be times in our lives when we were desperate for something to happen, only to realize later that if it had happened on our timeline, we wouldn't have been ready for it. Maybe the job we wanted so badly would have been overwhelming if we had received it earlier, or the relationship we longed for wouldn't have been right at that time. It's only when we look back that we can see how God was protecting us, preparing us, and positioning us for something better. Trusting God's timing also helps us develop a sense of gratitude. When we learn to trust that God is working all things together for our good, we can find joy and gratitude in the present moment, even if we're still waiting for certain things to unfold. Instead of focusing on what we don't have or what hasn't happened yet, we can choose to be grateful for what God is doing right now. Gratitude shifts our perspective. It allows us to see the blessings that are already present in our lives, and it helps us cultivate a sense of peace and contentment, regardless of our circumstances. Trusting God's timing is a journey of faith, patience, and surrender. It's about releasing our need for control and allowing God to lead the way. It's about finding peace in the waiting and believing that God's plan for our lives is always for our good. Even when we don't understand the delays, even when we're tempted to take matters into our own hands, we can rest in the assurance that God's timing is perfect. He is always at work, orchestrating things behind the scenes, aligning circumstances, and preparing us for the blessings to come. When we trust His timing, we open ourselves up to experiencing the fullness of His love, grace, and provision in our lives. The idea that God's plan for your life is greater than you could ever imagine is both comforting and empowering. It speaks to the vastness of God's wisdom and love for us, reminding us that no matter how grand our dreams or ambitions may seem, God's vision for our lives far surpasses anything we could conceive. This truth invites us to step into a life of faith, where we trust not only in the promises of God, but also in His boundless ability to create something far more beautiful and purposeful than we could ever envision on our own. When we reflect on the concept that God's plan is greater than anything we could imagine, it's essential to understand that God sees us fully. He knows us better than we know ourselves. He created us with unique gifts, talents, and purposes that are intricately woven into His divine plan. While we might have goals or desires that seem big to us, God's plan encompasses not just our personal fulfillment, but the ways in which we are meant to impact others, bring light to the world, and fulfill His broader purpose for humanity. This means that when we align ourselves with God's plan, we step into a life that is not only about personal success, but about making a meaningful difference in the lives of others. Often our human tendency is to dream within the confines of what we believe is possible based on our current circumstances. We may set goals or have aspirations, but they are often limited by our perceived abilities, resources, or life situations. However, God's plan for our lives is not constrained by these limitations. In fact, He often calls us to step beyond what we believe is possible, to embrace a vision that feels far beyond our reach. This is because God operates in the realm of the miraculous. He takes our limitations and turns them into opportunities for His power and glory to be revealed. What may seem impossible to us is entirely possible with God. One of the key aspects of understanding that God's plan is greater than we can imagine is realizing that His timing and process may not always align with our expectations. We might have a clear idea of what we want or where we want to go, but God's plan often involves a journey that we cannot foresee. This journey may include challenges, detours, or even periods of waiting, but each step is a necessary part of the process. God uses these experiences to shape us, prepare us, and equip us for the greater plan He has in store. Even the difficult seasons of life are not wasted. They are part of the refining process that leads us toward the fulfillment of God's greater vision for our lives. At times, God's plan may involve leading us in directions we never anticipated. We may have our hearts set on a particular path, but God has a way of surprising us by opening doors we didn't even know existed. These unexpected opportunities or changes in direction can be unsettling at first, because they require us to step out of our comfort zones and into the unknown. However, when we trust that God's plan is greater than our own, we can embrace these moments with faith and confidence. We can be assured that God is leading us towards something even better than we had imagined. One of the most powerful examples of God's greater plan can be found in the lives of individuals who have experienced profound transformations or breakthroughs that they never saw coming. Many people have stories of how they pursued one path, only to be redirected by God into something far more significant. These stories often involve moments of surrender, where individuals let go of their own plans and fully trusted in God's guidance. It's in these moments of surrender that God's greater plan begins to unfold in ways that surpass all understanding. We see this in the lives of biblical figures such as Joseph, who, after being sold into slavery and enduring years of hardship, rose to a position of great influence that allowed him to save his people. Joseph's story is a testament to how God's plan is always greater, even when the path to fulfillment is filled with unexpected twists and turns. Another aspect of God's greater plan is the way in which He uses our lives to touch others. Often we think of our personal success or happiness as the ultimate goal, but God's plan is much broader. He uses our lives, our stories, and even our challenges to inspire, encourage, and uplift those around us. When we step into God's greater plan, we become vessels of His love and grace, impacting the lives of others in ways we may never fully understand. Our influence extends far beyond what we can see, as God's plan involves not just our individual lives, but the ripple effects of our faith, love, and service in the lives of others. God's greater plan also involves the fulfillment of promises that we may not even be aware of. The Bible is filled with examples of people who received blessings far beyond what they had hoped for. Abraham, for instance, was promised descendants as numerous as the stars, even when it seemed impossible due to his and Sarah's old age. Yet God fulfilled His promise in a way that far exceeded what Abraham could have imagined. Similarly, God often has promises for us that we may not yet see or understand, but He is faithful to fulfill them in His perfect time and way. It's important to remember that God's plan for our lives is rooted in His love for us. He is not a distant or indifferent God. He is intimately involved in every aspect of our lives, and His plans for us are always good. Jeremiah 29:11 reminds us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This verse is a powerful reminder that no matter what we are going through, God's plan is ultimately for our good. His love for us is so great that He desires to bless us, to give us a future filled with hope, and to guide us into a life of purpose and fulfillment. In embracing the truth that God's plan is greater than we could ever imagine, we are called to live with a sense of expectancy and trust. We don't have to have all the answers or know every detail of how our lives will unfold. Instead, we can rest in the assurance that God is in control, and His plan for us is beyond our wildest dreams. This doesn't mean that we won't face challenges or disappointments along the way, but it does mean that we can move forward with confidence, knowing that God is working all things together for our good. Understanding that God's plan for your life is greater than you could ever imagine invites you to live a life of faith, trust, and surrender. It calls you to let go of your limited view of what's possible and embrace the limitless possibilities that come with aligning your life with God's will. His plan is not just about your personal success, it's about fulfilling a greater purpose that impacts the world around you. While the journey may not always be easy or predictable, you can have faith that God is guiding you toward a future that is filled with hope, purpose, and blessings beyond your imagination. When you trust in His greater plan, you step into a life that is far more extraordinary than anything you could have ever dreamed. Life is a journey filled with highs and lows, triumphs and challenges, moments of joy and seasons of struggle. One of the greatest truths we can hold on to during these times is that every challenge we face is part of a bigger picture, a journey that God has carefully designed for our growth and transformation. Embracing life's challenges as part of the journey means recognizing that adversity isn't just a random, unfortunate occurrence, it's a critical part of our spiritual development and a necessary step on the path to fulfilling God's divine plan for our lives. When we encounter obstacles, it's natural to feel frustrated, discouraged, or even defeated. But what if we shifted our perspective? What if, instead of viewing challenges as roadblocks, we saw them as stepping stones? Each trial we endure is an opportunity to build strength, resilience, and deeper faith. It's during the difficult times that our character is tested and refined. Without challenges, there would be no growth. We would remain stagnant, unchanging, and unprepared for the bigger and better things that God has in store for us. In many ways, challenges are like a refining fire. Just as gold is purified by fire, so too are we purified through the trials we face. It is through these experiences that we learn patience, humility, and perseverance. Every challenge presents an opportunity to lean into faith, to trust that God is working even when we don't understand His ways. The Bible tells us in James 1-2-3, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." This verse reminds us that there is a purpose to our pain, that God is using it to build something beautiful within us. When we face hardships, it's easy to ask, why is this happening to me? But a more powerful question to ask is, what is this teaching me? Every difficulty we encounter holds a lesson, something we can take with us as we continue on our journey. Whether it's learning to let go of control, discovering the depth of our inner strength, or gaining empathy for others who are going through similar struggles, challenges are our greatest teachers. They push us out of our comfort zones, force us to confront parts of ourselves that need healing, and ultimately shape us into the people we are meant to be. Sometimes challenges come into our lives to redirect us. What may seem like a setback could actually be God's way of steering us onto a new path, one that is more aligned with our purpose. We've all had experiences where something didn't go as planned, a job didn't work out, a relationship ended, or a door we were hoping would open remained firmly shut. In those moments, it can be hard to see beyond the immediate disappointment. But when we look back, we often realize that those closed doors were blessings in disguise. God knew what we didn't, and He was protecting us from something that wasn't meant for us, or preparing us for something even greater. Embracing challenges as part of the journey also means accepting that we won't always have the answers right away. Sometimes we have to walk through difficult seasons without fully understanding why certain things are happening. It's in these moments that faith becomes our anchor. Faith tells us that even though we can't see the whole picture, God is at work. He is using every trial to strengthen us, to prepare us, and to draw us closer to Him. When we trust in God's plan, we can find peace even in the midst of chaos, knowing that everything is happening for a reason, and that in time we will see the purpose behind our struggles. There's a well-known quote that says, "Smooth seas do not make skilled sailors," in much the same way. A life free from challenges does not make strong, resilient individuals. It's through the storms of life that we learn how to navigate with courage, how to trust God even when the waters are rough, and how to hold on to hope when everything around us feels uncertain. Each challenge we face equips us with the tools we need for the next part of our journey. It's like building spiritual muscle. Every time we overcome an obstacle, we become stronger, more capable, and more prepared for the future. Another important aspect of embracing challenges is recognizing that we are never alone in our struggles. God walks with us every step of the way. He is our strength when we feel weak, our comfort when we feel afraid, and our guide when we feel lost. In Psalm 23:4, the psalmist writes, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff. They comfort me." This verse is a powerful reminder that no matter how dark or difficult the road ahead may seem, God is with us. He is guiding us, protecting us, and leading us toward His perfect plan. One of the most beautiful things about embracing challenges is that it allows us to develop a deeper sense of gratitude. When we go through difficult times and come out on the other side, we gain a greater appreciation for the good things in life. We learn to cherish moments of peace, to celebrate small victories, and to recognize the blessings that we might have otherwise taken for granted. Challenges teach us to be grateful for our strength, for our faith, and for the ways that God provides for us, even in the midst of hardship. It's also important to remember that challenges are temporary. No matter how difficult a season may be, it will not last forever. There is always light at the end of the tunnel. God promises in Isaiah 43:2, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you." This verse reassures us that even though we may face deep waters, we will not be overcome. God is with us, and He will see us through to the other side. Ultimately, embracing life's challenges as part of the journey is about trusting in the process. It's about recognizing that every obstacle we face is a stepping stone towards something greater. It's about believing that God is using our struggles to shape us, to grow us, and to prepare us for the purpose He has for our lives. When we embrace challenges with faith, resilience, and a spirit of gratitude, we are able to move through life with a deeper sense of peace, knowing that every part of the journey, both the good and the difficult, is leading us closer to our divine destiny. Faith is often described as a belief in things unseen, a trust in something greater than ourselves, even when we don't have all the answers. Leaning into faith during times of uncertainty is not just an abstract concept, it's a powerful practice that can transform the way we navigate life's most challenging moments. When everything around us feels unstable, when the path ahead is unclear, faith becomes the anchor that grounds us. It's the assurance that, even when we can't see the full picture, God is at work behind the scenes, guiding us and leading us to where we are meant to be. Uncertainty is a natural part of life. We all go through seasons where we don't know what the future holds, whether it's uncertainty in our careers, relationships, health, or finances. These are moments that can evoke fear, anxiety, and doubt. We may feel like we're walking in the dark, unsure of the next step to take. It's in these moments of uncertainty that faith becomes most critical. Faith allows us to take a step forward even when we can't see the entire staircase. It's the belief that, although we may not know what lies ahead, God does, and He has a plan that is unfolding in ways we may not yet understand. Leaning into faith means surrendering our need for control. As humans, we have a natural tendency to want to control every aspect of our lives. We want to know what's going to happen next, how things will turn out, and what the future holds. But the reality is, we can't control everything. Life is full of twists and turns that we can't predict. Trying to control outcomes often leads to frustration and stress because we are fighting against the flow of life. Faith, on the other hand, invites us to let go of that control. It's about acknowledging that, while we may not have all the answers, God does. It's about trusting in His plan, even when we don't understand it in the moment. One of the greatest challenges we face during times of uncertainty is the feeling of vulnerability. Not knowing what the future holds can make us feel exposed, as if we're standing on shaky ground. But faith offers a sense of security in the midst of that vulnerability. When we lean into faith, we are reminded that we are not walking through life alone. God is with us every step of the way, and He has promised to guide and protect us. The Bible tells us in Isaiah 41:10, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." This verse is a powerful reminder that no matter how uncertain life may feel, God's presence is a constant source of strength and support. Faith also helps us to shift our perspective during uncertain times. Instead of focusing on what we don't know or can't control, faith encourages us to focus on what we do know, that God is good, that His plans are for our good, and that He is always working on our behalf. When we lean into faith, we begin to see challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. We start to recognize that every season of uncertainty is a chance to strengthen our trust in God, to deepen our relationship with Him, and to develop the qualities that will prepare us for the next stage of our journey. In times of uncertainty, our faith can also be a source of hope. It's easy to feel discouraged when things aren't going as planned or when we're faced with the unknown. But faith reminds us that our current circumstances are not the end of the story. God is still writing the narrative of our lives, and the best is yet to come. When we hold on to faith, we are able to maintain a sense of hope, even in the midst of difficult situations. This hope is not based on wishful thinking or blind optimism, but on the firm belief that God's promises are true, and that He is faithful to complete the work He has started in us. Another aspect of leaning into faith during uncertainty is learning to embrace the waiting period. Often uncertainty comes with a sense of waiting for clarity, waiting for a breakthrough, waiting for God to reveal the next step. Waiting can be difficult, especially in a world that values instant gratification. But faith teaches us that there is purpose in the waiting. It's during these periods of waiting that God is working behind the scenes, aligning the right people, circumstances, and opportunities for our good. The waiting period is not wasted time, it's a time of preparation. Just as a seed must be planted in the dark soil before it can grow, so too must we often endure periods of uncertainty before we can fully step into the next season of our lives. Leaning into faith also requires us to stay connected to God through prayer and reflection. During times of uncertainty, it's easy to become overwhelmed by our fears and doubts. But when we take the time to quiet our minds, to seek God's presence, and to pray for guidance, we are reminded of His constant love and care for us. Prayer is a way to center ourselves in faith, to release our worries to God, and to trust that He is guiding us even when we can't see the way forward. It's through prayer that we can find peace in the midst of uncertainty, knowing that God hears us and that He is always working for our good. One of the most important things to remember during times of uncertainty is that faith is not a passive state, it's an active choice. It's a choice to trust God, even when the path ahead is unclear. It's a choice to believe in His goodness, even when we don't understand why certain things are happening. It's a choice to move forward with confidence, knowing that God is in control and that He is working all things together for our good. There will always be moments in life when we don't have all the answers, but that's where faith comes in. Faith allows us to step into the unknown with courage, to trust that God is leading us, and to believe that, no matter what happens, His plan is for our good. Leaning into faith during times of uncertainty is about embracing the unknown with confidence, knowing that God's love, guidance, and provision are always with us. It's about releasing our fears, trusting in His perfect timing, and walking forward with the assurance that we are never alone. In conclusion, recognizing and embracing the truth that God's plan for your life is greater than you could ever imagine is the key to living with faith, purpose, and fulfillment. While life may not always unfold the way we expect or desire, trusting in God's perfect timing and infinite wisdom allows us to navigate challenges with grace and patience. Every step, every delay, and every unexpected turn is part of a divine process that shapes us into who we are meant to be, leading us towards something far more beautiful and meaningful than we can comprehend. When we surrender our plans to God and allow Him to guide us, we open ourselves up to the miraculous, to blessings beyond our wildest dreams, and to a life of deeper purpose that touches not only our own hearts, but the lives of those around us. So as you continue your journey, trust that God's plan is unfolding perfectly, and it is greater, more abundant, and more powerful than anything you could ever imagine. The divine promise of transformation is upon you, for Psalm 30:11 declares, "You have turned for me my mourning into dancing, you have loosed my sackcloth and girded me with gladness." These words are not mere poetry, they are a prophecy, a vibration resonating with the truth of the unseen. They whisper to your soul, urging you to prepare, for your time has come. God is about to shift the very axis of your existence. Imagine, if you will, the power of a seed lying dormant in the soil. In the stillness of its weight, nothing outwardly changes. But deep within, unseen by the eye, a divine transformation unfolds. So too is your life. Perhaps you have endured seasons of sorrow, walking through valleys where joy seemed distant. Yet even in those moments, the divine was preparing the soil of your heart, nurturing the roots of your destiny, unseen but certain. This change that is promised, this dance of joy replacing mourning, is not arbitrary. It is birthed through your imagination, your faith, and your unwavering belief in the unseen. God's plans are not random, they are precise and intentional. To align with them, you must prepare your mind as the potter prepares the clay. Do not wait passively, hoping for a miracle to descend. Instead, see yourself already living in the joy you desire, already walking in the fulfillment of the promise. The course of your life is not dictated by external circumstances, but by the consciousness you hold within. When you feel as though life is stagnant, remember that God operates in realms far beyond the visible. Your sackcloth, your mourning, your burdens, these are not your identity. They are the temporary states from which God is lifting you. In their place, He is clothing you with gladness, a garment woven from faith and expectancy. What does it mean to prepare? It means to think, to feel, and to act as though the promise is already fulfilled. Do not dwell on what has been or what appears to be. The past has no power over the promise, and the visible is but a shadow of what is unfolding. Look with eyes of faith, for what you perceive as your reality is but a reflection of your beliefs. Shift your inner world, and the outer will follow. God's timing is perfect, and His ways are beyond comprehension. Yet He invites you to co-create with Him, to step boldly into the promise of a life transformed. As Psalm 30:11 assures us, this is not a distant dream but a present truth, waiting for you to claim it. Your mourning is turning to dancing even now. Your tears are watering the soil of joy. Let the words of this psalm sink deep into your being, not as distant scripture but as a living, breathing promise. God's hands are already at work, altering the course of your life. Trust the unseen, for it is more real than the seen. Your time has come, get ready, for the course of your life is changing before your very eyes. You stand on the brink of a divine shift, a moment where the invisible becomes visible, where promises once whispered in the silence of your heart take form in your life. Psalm 30:11 is not just a scripture, it is a declaration from the Creator Himself. It is a reminder that the same power that spoke light into existence is now moving in your favor. Can you feel it? The currents of change are stirring. God's work in your life is not limited by what you see or understand. The natural mind may wrestle with doubt, asking, how can this be? How can my mourning turn to dancing, my burdens transform into gladness? But faith operates on a higher law, one that defies logic and dismantles impossibilities. It asks you to see with your inner eye, the eye of your spirit, which perceives what is not yet visible. Close your eyes for a moment and feel the truth of these words, you have turned my mourning into dancing. Do not merely hear them, embody them. Imagine the heaviness you've carried for so long melting away. See yourself dancing not timidly, but with unrestrained joy, as one who has seen the hand of God alter the fabric of their reality. This dance is not just a metaphor, it is a manifestation of the freedom that is already yours in spirit, waiting to unfold in your life. Every experience of pain, every moment of loss was not wasted. They were the chisels in the hands of the master sculptor, shaping you into a vessel ready to receive His glory. The tears you've cried, the prayers you've whispered in the stillness of night, they were not ignored. Each one was a seed planted in the soil of divine timing. And now the season of harvest is upon you. Do not dismiss the small beginnings, for within them lies the potential of great transformation. As the psalmist declares, God has loosed your sackcloth and girded you with gladness. Sackcloth, the symbol of mourning and repentance, is not your eternal garment. It was a temporary covering, necessary for a season, but never meant to define you. Gladness, on the other hand, is your inheritance. It is not fragile or fleeting, it is rooted in the eternal nature of God Himself. You are being clothed in joy, not as an accessory, but as your very essence. To prepare for this transformation, you must align your thoughts with the reality of God's promise. Every time doubt arises, every time circumstances seem unchanged, remind yourself of the truth. God is not bound by time or space. What looks delayed to you is perfectly on schedule in His plan. Your role is not to figure out the how, but to trust the one who holds the blueprint of your life. Visualize the course of your life shifting. See the obstacles before you crumbling, the doors that seem sealed shut swinging wide open. Feel the weight lifting off your shoulders, replaced by a lightness that comes from knowing the Creator of the universe is orchestrating every detail for your good. Faith is not passive, it is an active force. Speak as though the change has already come. Act as though you are already walking in the promise. There is power in gratitude, even before the manifestation occurs. When you thank God for what you have not yet seen, you affirm your belief in His ability to bring it to pass. Gratitude is the language of faith, and it creates a resonance with the divine. Begin now to give thanks not just for the blessings you can see, but for the ones yet to unfold. Thank Him for turning your mourning into dancing, for clothing you with gladness, for changing the course of your life. The world may look at you and see someone unchanged, someone still in the midst of their struggles. But do not be discouraged. The transformation begins within, in the unseen realm of your spirit. The outward change is merely a reflection of the inner shift. Hold steadfast to the vision of your life transformed, even when the evidence is not yet apparent. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. God's timing is perfect, even when it feels uncomfortable. The waiting season is not a punishment, but a preparation. In the waiting, your faith is strengthened, your character refined, your vision clarified. Trust that He knows the exact moment when the promise will unfold, the precise second when your mourning will turn to dancing. Until then, rest in the assurance that it is already done in the Spirit. You are not alone in this journey. The same God who turned David's mourning into dancing is working on your behalf. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. His nature does not change, and His promises do not falter. When He says He will turn your mourning into dancing, it is not a suggestion, it is a certainty. When He declares that He has girded you with gladness, it is not a wish, it is a fact. Do not let the voices of doubt or fear distract you from this truth. The enemy would have you believe that your situation is permanent, that your sorrow is your identity. But the enemy is a liar, and the truth is found in God's word. You are not defined by your pain or your past. You are defined by the one who calls you His own, the one who has declared that your time has come. Take a moment to feel the shift. Can you sense it? The old is falling away, and the new is emerging. The course of your life is changing, not by your might or power, but by the Spirit of the living God. Embrace it. Dance in the Spirit, even if your feet have yet to move. Rejoice in your heart, even if your circumstances have yet to change. The transformation is already underway, and nothing can stop what God has ordained. You are not here by accident. These words have reached you because God is speaking directly to your spirit. He is calling you to rise, to prepare, to get ready for the new season He is ushering into your life. Do not shrink back in fear or hesitation. Step boldly into the promise, knowing that the one who has begun a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. The dance of joy is not just for a moment, it is for a lifetime. The gladness that God is clothing you with is not temporary, it is eternal. Hold on to this truth, no matter what the world may say. For God's word is the final authority, and His plans for you are good, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Your time has truly come. The divine clock has struck the moment of transformation, and nothing in heaven or on earth can hinder what God has already set into motion. His word spoken through Psalm 30:11 is not a mere possibility, it is an assurance. Every syllable carries the power to reshape your life, to draw you from mourning to dancing, from despair to hope, from doubt to unshakable faith. You are standing on holy ground, a sacred juncture where the old fades into the new and where the promises of God ignite into reality. Begin to realize that this moment was not birthed from coincidence or chance. It was orchestrated from the foundations of the world. The struggles you have faced, the nights you thought would never end, were not detours but essential parts of your journey. They were tools refining you, preparing you, molding you into the vessel capable of holding the abundant joy and gladness that God is pouring into your life. Trust this process, for God wastes nothing. Every tear, every question, every sigh was heard and accounted for. Nothing escapes His notice, and nothing is ever lost in His hands. Faith is your anchor now. It is the bridge between what is and what shall be. Look beyond what your natural eyes can see, for the physical realm is but a shadow of the true reality. The unseen realm, where faith operates, is where God's promises are birthed. Do not measure your future by your past or even by your present circumstances. Instead, measure it by the boundless power of God, who is able to do exceedingly, abundantly above all you can ask or imagine. In this moment, let your imagination become a sanctuary. See yourself in the place of promise. Visualize the dance of joy that is already yours. Picture the lightness in your step, the laughter that fills your soul, the radiance on your face as you walk in the fullness of God's blessings. Your imagination is not just a tool, it is a divine gift, a canvas on which the promises of God are painted. Dwell in this vision until it becomes more real to you than the struggles you have known. Transformation begins in your heart and mind. It is an inside-out process. The world may look at you and see no change, but the seed of God's promise is already growing within you. Like a tree hidden within the seed, your future is already encoded within you, waiting to unfold. This is the mystery and majesty of God's work, that He sees the end from the beginning and calls things that are not as though they are. Align yourself with this divine vision. Speak it, believe it, act on it. Joy is not merely an emotion, it is a spiritual state, a fruit of the Spirit that transcends circumstances. The gladness that God is girding you with is not dependent on external factors. It flows from His very presence, a river of life that cannot be dammed. As you step into this joy, you will find that it strengthens you, empowering you to face each day with renewed hope and courage. This joy is your strength, a fortress that no trial can breach. Do not underestimate the power of gratitude in this process. Gratitude is a magnet for miracles. When you give thanks for what you have not yet seen, you align yourself with the frequency of heaven. Gratitude declares, I trust you, God, even when I don't understand. I believe your promises, even when they have not yet manifested. Begin now to thank Him for the dancing, the gladness, the transformation that is already unfolding. Let your gratitude rise like incense, filling the throne room of heaven and opening the windows of blessing over your life. This change is not only for you but for those connected to you. Your transformation is a testimony, a living epistle read by others. As God turns your mourning into dancing, those around you will see His glory in your life. They will be drawn to the source of your joy, to the one who has worked such a miraculous change. In this way, your life becomes a beacon, a light that leads others to the truth of God's goodness and faithfulness. Every obstacle you faced, every battle you fought, has been preparing you for this moment. The resistance you've encountered was not meant to break you, but to strengthen you, to refine your faith, and to deepen your trust in God. Now, as the course of your life shifts, you will look back and see that every step, even the painful ones, was part of a divine choreography, leading you to this dance of joy. God's timing is precise, and His ways are higher than ours. You may not understand why certain seasons lasted as long as they did, but trust that He was working all things together for your good. Even now, He is aligning circumstances, moving people, opening doors, and orchestrating events in ways you cannot yet see. Your role is to stay in faith, to keep your eyes fixed on Him, and to prepare your heart for the outpouring of His blessings. Preparation is an act of faith. It says, I believe so deeply in God's promise that I will act as though it is already fulfilled, begin to make room for the new thing God is doing. Release the old mindsets, the limiting beliefs, and the fears that have held you back. Open your hands and your heart to receive what He is pouring out. The course of your life is changing, and you must be ready to walk in the fullness of what God has for you. As you prepare, remember that this transformation is not about striving or earning. It is a gift, a manifestation of God's grace and love. Your role is not to force the change, but to surrender to it, to trust in the One who is making all things new. Rest in His promises, knowing that He is faithful, and that His word will never return void. There is a rhythm to God's work, a divine flow that carries you from one season to the next. Do not resist this flow, but yield to it, trusting that it is leading you to a place of greater joy and fulfillment. Let go of the need to control or understand every detail. God's ways are beyond our comprehension, but His heart is always for our good. Trust in His character, in His love, and in His perfect plans for your life. As you step into this new season, keep your heart aligned with God's word. Let Psalm 30:11 be your anthem, a declaration of the transformation that is taking place. Speak it over your life daily, allowing its truth to take root in your spirit. Meditate on it, let it fill your mind and your heart, and watch as it shapes your reality. The dance of joy is not just for a moment, it is the beginning of a new way of living. It is a testament to the faithfulness of God, a reminder that He is always working on your behalf, even when you cannot see it. Embrace this dance, this gladness, this transformation. It is your inheritance as a child of God, and it is the fulfillment of His promise to you. The work of God in your life is unfolding even now, in ways that defy natural understanding. Each moment, each breath carries you closer to the manifestation of His promises. This truth is not contingent on how things appear, but on the immovable word of God. His word says He has turned your mourning into dancing. This is not a promise of someday, it is a declaration of now. In the spiritual realm, it is already done, and your faith is the bridge that brings it into your experience. Faith does not wait for evidence. Faith creates evidence. It sees beyond the veil of time and circumstance, declaring that what God has spoken is as good as done. When you step into this faith, you align yourself with the truth of God's word, and His power begins to work through you. You become a vessel through which His promises flow into the world. Every step you take in faith is a step into the new reality God has prepared for you. The course of your life is not determined by what has been, but by what is to come. God's plan for you is not bound by your past mistakes, failures, or limitations. He is the God of new beginnings, and His mercies are new every morning. When He declares a new season, it does not matter what lies behind you. What matters is the path He is laying before you. Step into that path with confidence, knowing that He who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. Begin to act as if the promise is already fulfilled. Speak as though the transformation has already occurred. Walk as though the joy, the dancing, the gladness is already yours. This is not pretense, it is alignment with the truth of God's word. Your actions, your words, and your thoughts are powerful tools in the manifestation of His promises. They are the outward expressions of your faith, the evidence of things not yet seen. Do not be discouraged if the world around you does not immediately reflect the change you know is happening within you. Transformation begins in the unseen, in the spiritual realm, before it becomes visible in the physical. Just as a seed takes time to grow beneath the soil before it breaks through into the light, so too does the work of God in your life. Trust the process and hold fast to your faith, for the harvest is certain. Surround yourself with reminders of God's faithfulness. Let the word of God fill your heart and mind, crowding out doubt and fear. Speak His promises over your life, declaring them with boldness and conviction. When doubt tries to creep in, return to the truth of Psalm 30:11 and let its words anchor your soul. You have turned my mourning into dancing, speak it. until it becomes the reality of your heart, until it shapes the way you see the world and your place in it. The joy God is bringing into your life is not a fleeting emotion but a deep, abiding state of being. It is a joy that comes from knowing who He is and who you are in Him. It is a joy that no circumstance can take away because it is rooted in the eternal, unchanging nature of God. As you step into this joy, you will find that it transforms not only your heart but also your perspective. You will see your life, your challenges, and your future through the lens of His goodness and faithfulness. God's timing is perfect and His plans for you are good. Even when you cannot see the full picture, trust that He is working all things together for your good. He is the master weaver, intricately threading every moment of your life into a beautiful tapestry of His glory. The struggles you have faced are not wasted, they are the dark threads that give contrast and depth to the brighter colors of His promises fulfilled. Trust that the hands of the Master are guiding every thread, and that the final masterpiece will be more glorious than you can imagine. In this season of transformation, guard your heart and mind against distractions. The enemy would love to steal your joy, to sow seeds of doubt and fear, to convince you that nothing is changing. But you are not called to live by sight, you are called to live by faith. Fix your eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of your faith, and let His truth drown out every lie. Stand firm on the promises of God, knowing that they are yes and amen in Christ. Your transformation is not just for your benefit, but for the glory of God. As He turns your mourning into dancing, as He girds you with gladness, your life becomes a testimony of His power and grace. Those around you will see the change and be drawn to the one who made it possible. Your story will inspire others to believe, to hope, and to trust in the God who can do all things. In this way, your life becomes a light in the darkness, a beacon pointing others to the truth of His love. Celebrate this season of transformation. Rejoice in the knowledge that your time has come, that God is changing the course of your life. Let your joy be a reflection of your faith, a declaration of your trust in His promises. Dance in the freedom He has given you, knowing that the chains of your past have been broken. Embrace the gladness He has placed within you, knowing that it is a gift from the one who loves you with an everlasting love. Let this moment mark the beginning of a new chapter in your life, a chapter written by the hand of God. Trust Him to lead you, to guide you, to bring you into the fullness of His plans for you. Step into this season with confidence, knowing that He is with you every step of the way. And as you walk this path, let your life be a song of praise, a testimony of His goodness, and a reflection of His glory. Your life is not a random sequence of events, nor is it dictated by circumstances or the opinions of others. It is shaped by the divine will of God, who has set you apart for a purpose far greater than you can comprehend. His word assures you that your mourning will be turned into dancing, and this is the very nature of His love, a love that transforms, renews, and lifts. Every detail of your journey has been crafted to bring you closer to the fullness of His promise, even when the path seems unclear or overwhelming. The turning point in your life begins the moment you believe that it has already arrived. This belief is not born of wishful thinking, but of trust in the unchanging character of God. He does not lie, nor does He fail. If He has said it, it will surely come to pass. Your role is to align your heart, your thoughts, and your actions with His word. Speak life over your circumstances. Declare His promises boldly and without hesitation. Each word of faith spoken from your mouth is a seed planted in the fertile soil of God's timing. Do not allow the weight of the past to define your future. God specializes in rewriting stories and creating beauty from ashes. What has been lost will be restored, and what has been broken will be made whole. You may feel unworthy or inadequate, but God sees you through the lens of His grace. He calls you His beloved, His chosen, His masterpiece. It is His strength working through your weakness that brings about the transformation you desire. Let go of self-doubt and lean fully into His power. Even now, God is orchestrating events in your life to bring about His perfect will. What seems like delay is actually preparation. He is aligning people, opportunities, and circumstances to ensure that when the time comes, everything will fall into place seamlessly. Trust in His timing, for it is never too early nor too late. The creator of time himself knows exactly when and how to bring his plans for you into fruition. Your faith is the bridge between the spiritual realm and your physical reality. When you stand firm in faith, declaring and believing the promises of God, you activate his power in your life. This power is not limited by what you see or feel. It is boundless, eternal, and unwavering. Faith is not moved by the opinions of others or the challenges of the moment. It holds steady, like a lighthouse guiding you through the storm, lighting the path ahead with the assurance of God's unchanging truth. Picture yourself already living in the reality of his promise. Imagine the joy, the peace, and the freedom that comes with knowing that God has turned your mourning into dancing. Feel the gladness that comes from being surrounded by his love and care. This is not mere visualization, it is a spiritual exercise in aligning your inner world with the truth of God's word. When your mind and heart are filled with this vision, your actions will naturally follow suit, and the world around you will begin to reflect the transformation taking place within. Every setback you've experienced has been a setup for your comeback. Every tear you've cried has been seen by the one who holds your life in his hands. Nothing you have endured has been in vain, for God uses all things to work together for your good. The lessons you've learned, the strength you've gained, and the character you've developed through trials are all part of the foundation he is building for your future. You are not defined by your struggles, you are refined by them. As you step into this new season, do so with an attitude of gratitude. Thank God not only for what he has already done, but also for what he is about to do. Gratitude is a powerful force that opens the door for blessings to flow into your life. It shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, from fear to faith, from doubt to trust. Let every moment of gratitude be a declaration of your confidence in God's goodness and faithfulness. The enemy will try to whisper lies into your ear, convincing you that nothing is changing, that God has forgotten you, or that you are not worthy of his blessings. Do not entertain these thoughts for a moment. They are not from God, and they have no power unless you give them power. Counter every lie with the truth of his word. Speak it out loud, write it down, meditate on it until it becomes the loudest voice in your life. The word of God is your weapon, your shield, and your guide. Faith is the foundation upon which all transformation begins. It is the unwavering belief in what is unseen, the trust in promises not yet fulfilled. Faith is not passive, it is dynamic and alive, shaping the reality you step into. When God declares that your mourning will turn to dancing, this is not just a poetic statement, but a call to activate your faith. You are called to believe it as though it has already come to pass, to hold on to it in your heart until it becomes the reality of your life. Faith invites you to partner with God in the fulfillment of his promises, to see yourself through his eyes, and to act in alignment with his divine plan. The changes God is preparing in your life are not small or insignificant. They are profound and far-reaching, designed to reflect his glory and bring you into the fullness of who you were created to be. These changes may not always be visible at first, but they are happening. Just as the roots of a tree grow deep before its branches reach the sky, so too is God working beneath the surface of your life to establish a firm foundation for your transformation. He is preparing you to bear the weight of his blessings, to stand strong and unshaken as his promises come to fruition. Transformation requires letting go of what no longer serves you. The sackcloth, a symbol of mourning and despair, must be released so that you can be clothed in gladness. This is not merely an external change, but an internal one. It calls for a shift in your mindset, a willingness to let go of past hurts, regrets, and fears. Holding on to these things keeps you anchored in the past, but God is calling you forward. He is asking you to trust him enough to release what is in your hands so that he can fill them with something far greater. Your words hold the power of life and death, and what you speak over your life matters. Declare his promises over yourself daily. Speak words of hope, joy, and victory, even when your circumstances suggest otherwise. Your words are seeds, and as you sow them in faith, they will take root and grow into the reality God has planned for you. Let your mouth be filled with praise, for praise not only honors God, but also shifts your focus from your struggles to his sufficiency. Praise is a weapon that breaks chains and opens doors, a declaration of your trust in the one who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all you can ask or imagine. God's timing is perfect, even when it seems delayed by human standards. Waiting on God is not a passive act, but an active posture of faith and expectation. In the waiting, God is not absent, He is working. He is refining you, teaching you, and preparing you for what lies ahead. The waiting period is a time of growth, a season in which your faith is strengthened and your character is developed. Do not despise the waiting, for it is in these moments that God often does His greatest work within you. Every challenge you face is an opportunity for God to demonstrate His power. Trials are not the end, but a means to an end. They are the refiner's fire, burning away what is unnecessary so that you can shine brighter than ever before. When you face difficulties, do not ask, "Why me?" but instead ask, "What is God teaching me in this moment?" This perspective shifts your focus from the problem to the provider. It allows you to see your challenges as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. God's word is your anchor in times of uncertainty. When doubts arise, return to His promises. Let them be the rock upon which you stand, unshaken by the storms of life. His word is not just a collection of stories or teachings, it is alive and active, capable of transforming your mind and renewing your spirit. Meditate on it, let it sink deep into your heart, and allow it to guide your thoughts and actions. In doing so, you align yourself with God's will and open the door for His power to work in your life. The joy God promises is not dependent on your circumstances. It is a joy that comes from knowing you are loved, chosen, and secure in Him. This joy is a source of strength, a wellspring that sustains you even in the midst of trials. When you embrace this joy, it becomes a testimony to those around you. It shows that your hope is not in the things of this world, but in the eternal promises of God. Let this joy radiate from you, drawing others to the light of His love. God is not asking you to earn His blessings, they are a gift of His grace. You cannot work for them or deserve them, you can only receive them by faith. This grace is unmerited, undeserved, and unearned, yet it is freely given. It is a reflection of His boundless love for you, a love that is not contingent on your performance, but rooted in His character. Accept His grace with humility and gratitude, knowing that it is not about what you can do, but about what He has already done. As you step into this new season, let gratitude be your guiding principle. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from fear to faith. It opens your heart to receive more of God's blessings and reminds you of His faithfulness. Begin and end each day with thanksgiving, acknowledging His hand in every area of your life. Gratitude is not just an emotion, it is a choice, a decision to see the goodness of God even in the smallest details. Your story is a reflection of God's glory. As He transforms your life, let your testimony inspire others to seek Him. Share the goodness of God not as a boast, but as a declaration of His power and love. Your transformation is not just for you, it is a light that shines in the darkness, a beacon of hope for those who are searching for meaning and purpose. Let your life be a living testimony of what is possible when you place your trust in God. God's plans for you are far greater than anything you could imagine. He sees the end from the beginning and knows exactly what you need to fulfill your purpose. Trust in His wisdom, even when His plans do not align with your expectations. He is the master weaver, intricately working all things together for your good. Surrender your desires, your plans, and your timing to Him, and watch as He exceeds your wildest dreams. As you journey forward, remember that you are not alone. God walks with you every step of the way, guiding you, protecting you, and providing for you. His presence is your greatest assurance, a constant reminder that you are deeply loved and never forsaken. Lean into His presence, for it is there that you will find peace, strength, and direction. When you feel weak, remember that His strength is made perfect in your weakness. When you feel lost, remember that He is the Good Shepherd, leading you beside still waters and restoring your soul. You are on the brink of something extraordinary. The turning point has arrived and your time has come. Hold fast to the promises of God, for they are the foundation upon which your future is built. Let your faith be unshakable, your hope unwavering, and your joy uncontainable. The God who began a good work in you is faithful to complete it. Believe it, receive it, and walk into the fullness of His plans with boldness and confidence. God's plan for you is not just about you, it is about His glory being revealed through your life. As He turns your mourning into dancing, your story becomes a testament to His power and love. Those around you will see the change and be inspired to seek Him for themselves. Your transformation is a light that shines in the darkness, drawing others to the one who has brought it to pass. Embrace this calling with humility and joy, knowing that your life is part of a greater purpose. You may not know exactly how or when the shift will happen, but you can be certain that it will. The God who promised is faithful to fulfill His word. Hold on to this truth with everything you have, letting it guide your thoughts, your actions, and your prayers. When doubt tries to creep in, return to Psalm 30:11 and let its words anchor you. You have turned my mourning into dancing. You have loosed my sackcloth and clothed me with gladness. This is not just a verse, it is your reality in Christ. Take time to reflect on the ways God has already shown His faithfulness in your life. Each answered prayer, each moment of grace, and each blessing is a reminder that He is with you and for you. Let these memories fuel your faith as you move forward. If He has been faithful before, He will be faithful again. His character does not change, and His love for you is unending. The course of your life is being redirected by the hand of God. What once seemed impossible is now within reach, because nothing is too hard for Him. Your part is to believe, to trust, and to act in alignment with His promises. As you do, you will see the evidence of His power and love in every area of your life. The joy, the dancing, and the gladness are not just ahead of you, they are here, waiting for you to step into them. As you stand on the threshold of this new season, remember that God's promises are not mere words, they are unshakable truths. The course of your life is being transformed by the one who holds all power in His hands. Your mourning has already been turned into dancing. Your sackcloth has been replaced with garments of gladness. This is your time, a moment ordained by God to showcase His love and faithfulness in your life. Step forward with unwavering faith, knowing that the Creator of the universe is guiding your steps. Speak His promises boldly, envision the joy He has prepared for you, and live as though the transformation has already occurred. Let your life reflect His glory and inspire others to seek the same hope, the same joy, and the same transformation. God has already declared that your time has come. Believe it, embrace it, and walk into the fullness of His plans with confidence and gratitude, for He is faithful to complete the good work He has begun in you. God is about to do a miracle in your life, but first you must believe it is already done. You see, the miracle you are waiting for is not somewhere far away, in some distant future, but right here, right now, within your own consciousness. The moment you shift your awareness and realize that you are already the recipient of the miracle, you open the door for it to unfold. The key to experiencing this miracle lies in your belief. Not a belief in some external force working on your behalf, but a belief in the power of your own mind. The power to shape your reality is yours, given freely by God. It is within your thoughts, your imagination, your ability to see what others may not see. What you imagine is what you bring into existence. The moment you see yourself living the miracle, you have already invited it into your life. Everything begins with a vision. Close your eyes and feel the presence of what you desire as if it has already taken place. Sense the joy, the gratitude, the fulfillment of that miracle in every cell of your being. Your emotions are your creative tools. What you feel is what you are calling into existence. Do not wait for the miracle to show up before you begin to feel it. Feel it now, in advance, and watch as the world begins to shift to match that inner state of being. It is not about waiting for some magical event to occur from the outside, for God is not distant, nor is He separate from you. God is within you, and He is your very own consciousness. The power that created the universe, that moves mountains and parts seas, resides in you. The moment you recognize this, you realize that there is no limit to what can happen in your life. You are not just waiting for a miracle, you are the miracle. The miracle is already within you, awaiting your recognition. What you are about to experience is not a random act of chance or fate. It is a direct response to the thoughts and feelings you have been nurturing within yourself. Every moment you have spent longing, desiring, and dreaming has been setting the stage for this moment. You are being prepared to receive the manifestation of all that you have believed to be true about your life. There is no delay, there is no time between your vision and its fulfillment, except in your own mind. You must align yourself with the feeling of already having it. If you continue to look outside yourself, searching for signs of the miracle, you will remain in a state of waiting. But when you look within, when you affirm that the miracle is already in motion, you will begin to see the evidence in your outer world. It may not come in the exact way you expect, but it will come, and it will come in a way that shows you that God has heard your every prayer, seen every tear, and knows the deepest desires of your heart. The miracle is already done in the unseen. It is unfolding as we speak. Your job now is to walk with confidence and faith, knowing that what you desire is not just possible, but inevitable. It is already manifesting in ways you cannot yet perceive, but trust that it is. Let go of doubt, for doubt will only delay what is already on its way. You must walk by faith, not by sight. As you step forward into this miracle, do not be surprised by its grandeur, its timing, or its shape. It may not look like what you expected, but it will be more than you ever dreamed. Remember that God's timing is perfect, and His plan for you is more magnificent than you can possibly imagine. When you open your heart and mind to receive, you will see that this miracle has been waiting for the perfect moment to unfold. And that moment is now. The truth is, the miracle you have been waiting for is not a far-off dream, but a reality that is already here. All that is required of you is to accept it, to trust in the process, and to allow it to manifest through the power of your belief. Be ready to witness the unfolding of something extraordinary, something that will change the course of your life in ways you never thought possible. For instance, God is about to do a miracle in your life. Be ready to receive it with open arms, knowing that it is already yours. The miracle is not coming tomorrow. It is happening right now, in the very moment you choose to believe. You may find yourself standing at the edge of a dream, questioning how it could possibly come to fruition. But remember, the essence of creation lies in belief. What you believe in and what you feel deeply in your heart is what you will experience. God does not wait for you to be perfect, to be without doubt, or to have everything figured out before He moves in your life. What He requires of you is faith, the belief that He can and will make the impossible possible through you. Think about how your life would change if you believed that the miracle is already in motion. What if you stopped waiting for external circumstances to align perfectly, and instead trusted that everything you need to see your desires unfold has already been given to you in the unseen realm? Your miracle is not something you have to chase or search for. It is simply something you must align with. When you align your thoughts and emotions with the certainty of your miracle, the universe begins to shift in your favor. Do not allow fear to cloud your vision. Fear tells you that the miracle is not coming, that you are not worthy of it, or that it is too late for you. But fear is a lie. Fear is the voice of doubt, and doubt is the only thing that can prevent your miracle from reaching you. Understand that fear is not a reflection of God's will for you. God's will for you is abundance, peace, and transformation. His will for you is a life filled with miracles. The only thing standing in your way is the thought that it cannot be so. The moment you release that thought, the floodgates open and the miracle is free to flow into your life. Imagine that you are walking down a path, and ahead of you there is a magnificent door. You stand before this door, knowing that it leads to the fulfillment of your deepest desires. But in order to open the door, you must first have the key. The key is not something that can be found outside of you. It is within you, and it is the key of belief. When you believe that this door is already open, when you believe that what you desire is already yours, the door swings open effortlessly. But if you stand there, doubting the door's existence, questioning whether it will ever open for you, you will remain stuck at the threshold. It is only when you step forward with the certainty that the door is open to you that it reveals itself. This is how you must approach your life, knowing that the miracle is not far away, not a someday event, but a present reality waiting for you to recognize it. You have the power to call forth the miracle by simply aligning yourself with the belief that it is already yours. When you stop seeing yourself as lacking, when you stop seeing your circumstances as obstacles, you will begin to see that everything you need has already been provided. You are not waiting for the miracle to happen to you. You are calling it into being by the power of your thoughts, your emotions, and your unwavering faith. There is no distance between you and your desires, no gap between what you want and what you can have. The only gap that exists is the one you create through doubt and fear. When you let go of the limiting beliefs that have kept you from your miracle, you will see how effortlessly everything begins to align. Things that once seemed impossible will suddenly unfold with ease. Opportunities that were once out of reach will now be in your grasp. Relationships that seemed broken will begin to heal. Health that was once elusive will be restored. The miracle you are waiting for is already on its way, and it is only a matter of time before it manifests in your life. This is the power of belief, the ability to create your reality by seeing it first in your mind's eye. When you believe that you are worthy of the miracle, when you believe that it is already done, you will begin to witness the unfolding of everything you've dreamed of. The miracle you seek is not outside of you, it is within you. And it begins with the thought that you are deserving, that you are ready, and that the time is now. Understand that the moment you align yourself with this truth, everything around you begins to shift. The universe responds to your inner state of being. Your thoughts are magnetic, and they pull in the experiences, circumstances, and people that match your vibration. If you continue to think that the miracle is out of reach, that it is too far away or too difficult to attain, you will continue to experience that reality. But the moment you shift your thoughts, the moment you begin to see the miracle is already done, the universe has no choice but to respond. It is as if the world is a mirror reflecting back to you the image you hold in your mind. If you look into the mirror and see only lack, only delay, only struggle, that is what will be reflected back to you. But if you look into the mirror and see the miracle already manifesting, already unfolding in your life, that is what the universe will reflect. Your belief is the catalyst that activates the divine law of attraction. You are not waiting for something to happen. You are stepping into the fullness of your desires by simply seeing them as already true. There are times when life may feel uncertain, when the circumstances may not align with what you are expecting. But remember, the external world is not the true reality. The true reality is the one you create within. The moment you decide that the miracle is already yours, the external world must follow suit. Everything that seems impossible will fall into place. The impossible will become possible, and you will marvel at the way things begin to unfold. This is why faith is so powerful. Faith is the knowing, the deep inner knowing, that what you desire is already yours, even before it appears in the physical world. Faith is not about waiting for evidence. It is about believing without seeing, trusting that everything is already in motion. Faith is the invisible force that activates the power of God within you. And once that faith is in place, the miracle cannot help but appear. You may wonder, how can this miracle come to me when I don't see any evidence of it yet? The answer is simple, because it already exists in the unseen. Everything you desire is already complete in the spiritual realm, and all that is required of you is to align your mind with the truth of its existence. Once you do that, you will begin to see it manifest in your physical world. God has already heard your prayers, seen your struggles, and felt your desires. He knows the deepest longings of your heart, and He is moving on your behalf, even when you cannot see it. You are not alone in this process. The universe is conspiring in your favor, and every moment of your life has led you to this very point. Now is the time to step forward in faith, knowing that the miracle you seek is not just possible, it is inevitable. So, be ready. Be ready to receive what has already been given. Be ready to see the shift in your life, to witness the miracles that are unfolding right before your eyes. As you embrace the truth of your power, as you align with the vision of your desired reality, the universe will respond in ways you cannot yet imagine. Trust in the process, trust in your ability to create, and trust that the miracle is already on its way. You are on the precipice of something extraordinary. Your miracle is not coming tomorrow, it is not coming next week, it is here now, in this very moment, and all you have to do is believe. Believe that it is already done, believe that it is already yours, and be ready to experience the miraculous. The time for your miracle is now. As you stand here today, the universe is conspiring in your favor. You may not see it yet, but everything is aligning. The challenges you have faced, the struggles you have endured, and the dreams you've carried have been preparing you for this moment. God has not forgotten you. Your prayers have been heard, your desires have already been woven into the fabric of the universe. You are not waiting for something to happen, it is already happening. Think of the miracle as if it is already in motion, not as a distant event you hoped for, but as an unfolding reality. The moment you begin to see it in your mind's eye, you activate the power within you to bring it into being. The life you want, the dream you've always had, the breakthrough you've been longing for, it is already within your reach. The miracle is already within you, but it is up to you to believe, to step into the flow of your own power and claim what is rightfully yours. Too often people wait for a sign, for something external to happen before they feel they are ready to receive. They wait for the conditions to be perfect, for the timing to be right, or for a moment of validation. But what you must understand is that the external world is simply a reflection of your inner world. The miracle is not something that happens up there, it is something that begins in your consciousness. What you see in your life is a direct manifestation of what you believe to be true. The world does not need to change for your miracle to appear. It is your beliefs that need to change. The moment you stop seeing yourself as separate from your desire, the moment you stop feeling unworthy or unprepared, your miracle begins to take shape. The desire for that miracle has been placed in your heart by God. It is not by accident that you long for something greater than your current circumstances. That longing is the invitation to step into the fullness of who you are, to become the person you are meant to be. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every feeling you hold is creating your reality. You are the architect of your life. You are not a passive observer waiting for things to change. You are the creator, shaping your experience with every belief you hold. When you believe in your miracle, when you see it already completed in your mind, you activate the divine law that brings it into the material world. Understand this, there is no delay in the universe. The delay exists only in your mind. Time, as we perceive it, is simply an illusion. There is no past, no future, only the eternal present. And in this present moment, your miracle is already done. What you desire is already complete. The only thing that remains is for you to step into the reality of it, to believe in its existence and to accept it as already yours. You may wonder how this is possible, how your situation can change when everything around you seems to say otherwise. But the power is not in the situation itself, it is in how you choose to see it. If you look at your current circumstances and focus only on what is lacking, what is broken, or what is not yet manifested, you are only reinforcing the illusion of separation between you and your miracle. But if you choose to focus on the truth that everything you desire is already within you, you will begin to see the evidence of that truth in your life. When you decide to see yourself as already possessing what you desire, the universe begins to shift to make it so. This shift happens in subtle ways, and sometimes it may not look like what you expect. The miracle may come in a form you never imagined, but it will always be greater than anything you could have envisioned. The universe does not give you what you want. It gives you what you believe you are worthy of receiving. And the more you step into the belief that you are worthy of miracles, the more miracles will unfold in your life. Every moment you spend doubting or fearing is a moment you are delaying the manifestation of your miracle. Doubt keeps you trapped in the belief that the miracle is not possible, that it is too far away or too difficult to achieve. But faith moves mountains. Faith allows you to see the unseen, to believe in what has not yet appeared, to trust that the miracle is already on its way, even when there is no physical evidence of it. The more you walk by faith, the more the miracle will come into focus. Faith is not blind. It is the highest form of seeing. It is seeing the potential, the possibility, and the truth of your own divinity. When you see the miracle with the eyes of faith, you see beyond the limitations of the physical world. You see through the illusion of time and space, and know that everything you desire is already part of your reality. Faith opens your eyes to the truth that your miracle is not something that has to come from the outside. It is something that is already present within you. Your miracle is not a random act of chance. It is the natural outcome of your alignment with the divine. It is the fruit of your trust in God's plan for you. You are not waiting for something to happen. You are waiting to receive what is already yours. And when you align your thoughts, your words, and your emotions with the knowing that it is already done, the miracle will unfold effortlessly. When you step into the knowing that your miracle is already complete, you step into the fullness of your power. You stop doubting and start believing in the infinite possibilities that are available to you. You stop waiting for things to happen and start creating the life you desire. You stop asking for permission and start living as though everything you ever dreamed of is already true. This is the moment when you shift from a life of lack and limitation to a life of abundance and possibility. When you stop waiting for something to happen and start living as though it already has, you activate the power of manifestation. And once you activate that power, there is nothing in the universe that can stop your miracle from unfolding. Remember, the universe does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you believe you can have. The more you believe in your miracle, the more the universe aligns with that belief. Your life begins to reflect the truth that you have already received your desire. You stop struggling and start flowing. You stop striving and start trusting. You stop seeking and start receiving. In this moment, make the decision to believe in the miracle. Make the decision to see it as already done. Let go of the doubt and the fear that has kept you in a state of waiting. Step into the knowing that everything you desire is already yours. Your miracle is already on its way, and it is coming in ways that you cannot yet imagine. You do not need to know how it will happen. You do not need to know when it will happen. All you need to do is believe that it is already happening. The moment you believe that your miracle is already here, you create the space for it to manifest in your life. And when it does, you will look back and see that it was not a matter of luck or chance, but a matter of faith and belief. You are the creator of your reality. You are the one who shapes your world with your thoughts and emotions. When you believe in the miracle, you bring it into being. When you align yourself with the truth that everything you desire is already yours, you set the wheels of the universe into motion. And soon you will see the evidence of that miracle in your life. Be ready. Be ready for the miracles that are about to unfold. Be ready to receive what you have already claimed. Be ready to step into the life you have always dreamed of. The miracle is not coming tomorrow. It is already here. The time to believe is now. The time to receive is now. And your miracle is on its way. You have already taken the first step by recognizing that something greater than you is in motion and that it is always working in your favor. Now, as you wait for your miracle to unfold, know that waiting is not a passive act. It is an active, powerful expression of your faith. There is no need to worry or doubt. Every moment of expectation is a moment that draws your miracle closer. You see, the law of attraction is not about chasing after what you desire. It is about attracting what is already in alignment with your vibration, your thoughts, and your emotions. What you must now understand is that your miracle is not external to you. It is already woven into the fabric of your being. It is a part of you that is waiting to be released, just as a seed is waiting to sprout once the conditions are right. Your thoughts and feelings are the soil in which this seed is planted. If you continue to nourish your mind with the belief that you are deserving of all good things, the miracle will begin to take root and grow. The moment you shift from a mindset of lack to one of abundance, the miracle begins to manifest in your life. When you stop believing that you are waiting for something to happen and start realizing that you are only waiting to fully accept what has already been given to you, you unlock the flow of divine energy. The universe does not operate according to the rules of the physical world. It operates according to the energy you put out into it. Your energy, your beliefs, and your thoughts are what shape your reality. When you align yourself with the truth of who you are, your miracle will come into being naturally. It is essential to understand that the power of manifestation is not a process of forcing or striving. It is about allowing, trusting, and surrendering. When you let go of the need to control the outcome, you free yourself to receive the miracle that is already on its way. The act of surrender does not mean giving up. It means trusting that you are supported by a power greater than yourself, a power that knows exactly how to bring your desires into reality. It is the ultimate act of faith. Now, let me ask you this. How much longer will you keep doubting your own worth? How much longer will you wait to believe that you are worthy of the miracle you desire? The universe does not withhold from you, it gives freely. Your miracle is not dependent on your effort, but on your ability to accept and believe. The moment you believe in your own power, in your divine right to receive, is the moment that everything begins to shift. Your circumstances may not yet reflect the miracle that you expect, but I promise you, the miracle is already in the works. The unseen world is constantly responding to the vibrations you emit. It is not about seeing to believe, it is about believing so that you can see. Your belief is the key to unlocking the door to the life you have dreamed of. No matter how dire your situation may seem, remember that the miracle is already within you. It is waiting for you to recognize it, claim it, and allow it to manifest. There is a beautiful truth here. The miracle is not just something that happens to you, it is something that happens through you. Your miracle is the result of your own conscious creation. You are the artist, the creator of your reality, and your thoughts and feelings are the brushstrokes that bring your masterpiece into existence. When you begin to see yourself as the co-creator of your life, the power shifts entirely. You realize that you are not at the mercy of external forces. You are in control of your experience. As you stand in the fullness of your power, you realize that the miracle is not something to be awaited from afar, it is something to be drawn out from within. You are the very source of the miracle. Your belief in your own potential is what calls the miracle into being. And the more you believe, the faster it comes. Trust in this. The moment you align yourself with the certainty that what you desire is already yours, the moment you stop waiting and start believing, the miracle will flow into your life with ease. You see, the idea of waiting for something to happen is based on the misconception that you are separate from your desires. But you are not separate from your dreams. You are one with them. You are one with the universe. You are one with the divine. The miracle is not something that has to come from somewhere else. It is something that is already within you, waiting for you to realize its presence. When you live in alignment with this truth, you begin to see that the miracle is not just an event that happens at some point in the future. It is a continual unfolding of divine love, grace, and abundance. The miracle is not a single moment of transformation. It is the constant flow of divine energy that is always available to you. As you open yourself to this flow, you will see that the miracle is not a destination, but a journey. Every step you take in faith, every thought you think with belief, brings you closer to the life you have imagined. Now, in order to allow the miracle to unfold in your life, there is one thing you must do. You must release all resistance. Resistance is the force that pushes against the flow of divine energy. It is the force that tells you that you are not worthy or that you are not ready. It is the voice of doubt and fear, and it must be silenced in order for the miracle to come. When you release resistance, you open the door to infinite possibility. You make space for the miracle to enter, and you allow it to unfold without obstruction. The best part about this process is that you do not need to know the how. You do not need to know how the miracle will come to you, when it will come, or what it will look like. The universe knows exactly how to bring your desires into reality. All you need to do is to trust, believe, and receive. The miracle is not something you have to force or control. It is something you simply need to allow. It is also essential to remember that the miracle may not always come in the form you expect. Sometimes what you think is a delay or an obstacle is actually part of the divine plan. What appears to be a setback may be a setup for something greater. The universe is always working behind the scenes to align everything in your favor, even when you cannot see it. Trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, and that the miracle is always on time. If you allow yourself to trust in this divine timing, you will find that the miracle comes to you effortlessly. It will come when you least expect it, but when it does, you will realize that it has been with you all along. The miracle is never far away. It is always within you, always available, always on its way. You are a living testament to the power of creation. When you tap into this power, you begin to see that the life you desire is not outside of you, it is inside of you, waiting to be realized. And when you align with this truth, you are no longer waiting for the miracle to come. You are simply awaiting the moment when the universe catches up with the reality you have already created. So I ask you again, are you ready? Ready to believe, ready to receive, ready to step into the miracle that is already yours. Your life is about to change, but it starts with one simple shift in your consciousness. It starts with believing that you are worthy, that you are capable, and that you are deserving of the miraculous. Once you make that shift, your miracle will begin to unfold. The divine has already heard your call, and your miracle is already on its way. It is time to stop waiting and start believing. The miracle is unfolding right now in the quiet spaces of your thoughts, in the hidden recesses of your heart. It is already here, working its way to the surface of your experience. What you may not realize is that every moment you spend doubting or second-guessing, every moment spent in disbelief, is simply a moment delaying the inevitable. Your miracle is not dependent on time or circumstances. It is already an energetic reality waiting for you to claim it, to believe it, to trust in it. You do not need to search for your miracle, nor do you need to chase it. It is within you, embedded in the very core of your being. The universe, which is boundless, infinite, and filled with possibilities, is always moving in harmony with your intentions. The miracle is already in motion, and it is constantly aligning itself with the vibrational frequency you emit. The key to experiencing it in your life is simply to raise your frequency, to align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the truth that you are worthy of receiving it. The world outside may not yet show the evidence, but in the unseen world, the miracle is being carefully crafted. When you feel lost or hopeless, know that the divine is busy working on your behalf, making preparations, weaving events and opportunities into your path. You may not see the process unfolding, but it is happening. Your miracle is in the making, and it is closer than you think. Think about how the seed grows. In the beginning, there is no visible evidence that something is happening. The seed is buried in the soil, unseen, yet it is undergoing a transformation. It is breaking open, taking in nutrients, preparing to burst forth into the light. So too is your miracle. Just because you cannot yet see it does not mean it is not on its way. Just because you cannot see the seeds of your miracle sprouting in front of you, does not mean they are not alive, preparing to grow into something magnificent. This is why it is essential for you to trust in the unseen. You do not have to understand the process. The miracle does not need to be explained to you. It only needs to be believed in. The miracle will come when you stop looking at your current reality and start focusing on the truth that your desires have already been fulfilled. As long as you keep looking at your current circumstances and believing they are the final word, the miracle will remain hidden from your view. But once you align with the truth that your miracle is already on its way, you will begin to see evidence of it. You will feel it stirring deep inside you, preparing you for its arrival. Your job now is to hold space for the miracle. Be open to it. Be willing to let go of the how, the when, and the why. The universe has its own perfect timing, and when you trust in it, you release the need for control. Understand that your role in the miracle is not to force it, but to allow it. Surrender to the process and trust that what is meant for you will arrive at the perfect time. The miracle cannot be rushed, and it cannot be delayed. It will come when you are ready, when you believe, when you trust. The miracle you are waiting for is not just a one-time event. It is an ongoing process of transformation. As you continue to align your thoughts and emotions with your desires, you open the door to a continuous flow of miracles. This is why it is so important to stay in a state of faith, to remain in alignment with your truth, to keep believing even when the world around you seems to contradict it. The more you stay in the vibration of your miracle, the more the universe will bring it to you in ways you cannot even imagine. When you feel uncertain, remember this. Uncertainty is simply the gap between where you are now and where you are going. It is a space where you are being stretched, where the universe is making room for something bigger to emerge. If you allow yourself to rest in that uncertainty, without fear, without doubt, the miracle will rush to meet you. The uncertainty is not a sign that your miracle is not coming. It is a sign that it is on its way, preparing to arrive at the perfect moment. Do not let the appearance of things fool you. The external world is a reflection of what is happening within you. Your circumstances are temporary, but your belief in your miracle is eternal. This is why you must continue to nurture your faith, even when things seem to be falling apart. The miracle is in the process of coming together. When things feel most uncertain, when the world seems darkest, that is when the miracle is closest. In those moments, trust that it is on the verge of manifestation. Know that the universe is not a random force. It is an intelligent energy that works in perfect harmony with your thoughts, desires, and beliefs. When you trust in this intelligence, you allow the universe to guide you to exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. The path to your miracle is already laid out before you. All you need to do is to trust the process. Take inspired action when guided, and let go of all doubts and fears. Every challenge, every obstacle is a part of the divine plan. They are not setbacks, but setups. They are opportunities for you to grow, to strengthen your belief, and to increase your capacity to receive. When you shift your perspective and see every difficulty as an opportunity to build your faith, you remove all resistance to your miracle. Challenges are not roadblocks. They are stepping stones, leading you closer to the divine fulfillment that is waiting for you. One of the most important things you can do while waiting for your miracle is to express gratitude. Gratitude is the highest vibration you can hold, and when you are in a state of gratitude, you are magnetizing your miracle toward you. When you are thankful for what you already have, for the blessings that are already in your life, you create space for even more blessings to flow in. Gratitude is the key that unlocks the door to your miracle. So take a moment every day to reflect on what you are grateful for. Let this gratitude fill your heart and watch how it begins to transform your life. It is also important to let go of any limiting beliefs or past experiences that tell you that you do not deserve your miracle. You are worthy of everything you desire. Your worth is not determined by your circumstances or by what you have done or not done. Your worth is inherent simply because you are. The universe does not withhold from you because you are not good enough. It gives freely because you are already deserving. Your miracle is not based on your past mistakes or your current situation. It is based on your ability to accept and believe that you are worthy. Take time each day to affirm your worthiness. Say to yourself, I am worthy of every good thing that comes into my life. I am deserving of my miracle. I am open and ready to receive all that is meant for me. These affirmations will shift your vibration and align you with the truth of who you are. And as you continue to affirm your worth, you will see that the miracle begins to take shape. The universe responds to your inner knowing, to your belief in your own worth. Your miracle is waiting for you right here, right now. It is already in motion, already unfolding, already on its way to you. The only thing you need to do is to get out of your own way. Stop doubting, stop questioning, stop resisting. Trust that it is already yours. Trust that it will come when the time is right, and know that it is closer than you think. So be ready to receive, be ready to believe, be ready to step into the life you have always dreamed of. The miracle is already yours. All you have to do is open your heart, your mind, and your spirit to receive it. As you stand on the threshold of this divine transformation, remember that the miracle you seek is already within you. It is not something to chase or wait for in the distant future, but something you must embrace in the present moment. Trust in the process, trust in the timing, and trust in your own ability to receive. The universe is always working on your behalf, aligning circumstances, people, and events to bring your deepest desires to fruition. Do not be swayed by the appearance of the world around you. Keep your thoughts focused on the truth that your miracle is already unfolding just beyond the veil of your current perception. Stay in alignment with your dreams. Hold steadfast to your faith, and believe that what you desire is not only possible. So as you move forward, hold your head high with confidence and gratitude, knowing that your miracle is not a matter of if, but when. Be ready to welcome it into your life with open arms, for it is already yours. And remember, the greatest miracle of all is the power within you to create the life you have always dreamed of. Trust in that power and know that everything you need is already on its way to you.